Today on Eye on Northwest Politics, an exclusive interview with Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler. The mayor not running for re-election in 2024, but his job is far from over. From homelessness to fentanyl to the most dramatic change in Portland city government in history, Ted Wheeler has a lot to do in about a year's time. So how is he tackling the challenges facing the Rose City? My one-on-one interview with Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler on Eye on Northwest Politics starts now. Thanks for joining us. This is Eye on Northwest Politics. I'm Ken Body. Ted Wheeler has been Portland's mayor since 2017. Before that, Mayor Wheeler was the Oregon State Treasurer, and before that, chair of the Multnomah County Commission. A sixth-generation Oregonian, Mayor Wheeler has announced that he will not run for a third term. And his decision comes at a time when Portland faces serious challenges, including persistent homelessness, open fentanyl use on city streets, a spike in gun violence, and the difficult transition to a completely new form of city government starting with the November 2024 election. Mayor Wheeler, thanks for returning to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thanks for having me back, Ken.
Why did you decide not to run again?
Well, for me, it was based on my experience when I ran for re-election 4 years ago. For the last 6 months, it was a full-time job running for re-election, and I just didn't see a path to running while at the same time managing all of the crises that you mentioned in the introduction, in addition to completely rebuilding the government from ground zero to a completely different type of government. I couldn't do it all. And so I decided to focus, to do well for the next year and a quarter, and then to finish it up there and turn it over to somebody else.
Did the current state of the city, and honestly some of the criticism you've got for that, contribute to this decision?
To some degree, sure. This is a high-intensity position. Since day one, I've been in the spotlight. It hasn't always been a good place to be, particularly during challenging times. During my tenure, our city, like other cities around the country, have faced an unprecedented number of very serious crises. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit burned out. So I have a good year and a quarter. I'm going to give it all I've got. I'm going to continue to focus on the city's priorities and the council's priorities. I'm going to turn over the government in its new form on day one for the new mayor and the new city council. And I think that is an appropriate place to transition to new leadership in the mayor's office.
Let's talk homelessness. We've got 7 city-sanctioned safe rest villages. The annual report just came out recently. Says that those safe rest villages have served 345 people. 143 have left the program, but about 40% of those are unaccounted for or back on the street. So what's working and what's not when it comes to safe rest villages?
Well, first of all, let's take a step back and remember that the city's role is public safety, management of public right-of-ways, and infrastructure, streets, water, sewer, and the like. That's our primary obligation. But as the homeless crisis has exploded, we've moved into completely new areas. With the safe rest villages, and now certainly with our larger scale task sites, we're now in the business of delivering human services, connecting people to behavioral health issues, services to substance use disorder treatment, public health, job training. We have 2 goals, and what's working is we're aligning our goals to eliminate unsanctioned homeless camping in the city of Portland, particularly problematic camps, but we're also hearing what our constituents are saying. They want humane connections to resources to help people get off and stay off the streets. So between the 7 safe rest villages and our 1 new task site that now has 182 people, it is fully occupied. We now have 500 new shelter beds just in the last couple of years, 300 of which were created just in the last few months. So we're getting people out of those problematic campsites, we're cleaning up our public right-of-ways, and we're connecting people to services to get them off the streets. We've only had the task sites open for 6 months. We now have 44 people connected to services, connected to case management, getting back on their path. They're ready for housing. They'll be successful in housing as a result of that. So we need to continue to create those byways to get people off of the streets and out of those encampments.
You listen to those numbers, though, and we're talking about hundreds, 40 here, 18, 20 here. There are thousands of people who are homeless out on the streets. So how do we close that gap between the people who are getting served and the people who are still out there?
Well, we have to build solutions to scale. And that's why we created the task sites. That was the seminal creation of my administration, to create sites where hundreds of people, as opposed to dozens of people, could go. They would be provided intensive case management, and the expectation would be that they move through those sites with case management, connected to services, and then off the streets. And so far, the model is working. Now, what makes this interesting, as I said right up front, we shouldn't even be doing this as a city government. This isn't the center of our lane, but in the absence of county government or regional government or state government acting, we have to act. And I've made that a hallmark of my administration. We're not going to sit around and point fingers and say, well, they should do this, they should do this, they should do this. We're doing it. And we're doing it in a way that is evidence-based, in a way that is cost-effective, in a way that's going to get as many people off the streets as quickly as possible. And we're going to continue to push that till the very last day of my administration.
On that point, there has been some friction between the city and Multnomah County on homeless solutions. Some conflicts with the Joint Office of Homeless Services, which is run by Multnomah County. Has that relationship between the city and the Joint Office and Multnomah County, has that improved at all?
It has. I mean, to be honest, under the prior county administration, the relationship between the city and the county was nothing short of awful. And I think the core difference between this new administration, Jessica Vega Peterson, and the old administration is we're regularly communicating. My staff communicates with county staff at least once per day. I meet regularly with the chair and with the governor to talk about what our coordinated strategies are going to be. The county does move slowly, I'll be honest. They don't have the sense of urgency that the city does, that I have. But they just recently allocated some funding to our task sites, and I'm greatly appreciative of that. So I think the deep freeze has thawed. I think they're moving in our direction. I think they're seeing that we've created a successful model to transition people off the street, and they're beginning to embrace it. So I see that as a very positive movement.
You've called for a daytime camping ban. Will that ever happen?
Yes, but we have to have the resources, we have to have the alternatives, we have to have day locations where people can go, so we're not just shifting people from one neighborhood to the next. But it's imperative. And this is something people should ask all of their elected officials as the 2024 season comes up. Ask your county officials, ask your state reps, your state senators, do you support sweeps? I do. Under the circumstances where we have problematic camps that create public safety problems or public health problems or environmental problems, I've been crystal clear. We will remove those unsanctioned camps, but we'll do it in a humane way that connects people to services through the task sites or through the Safe Rest Village sites. But I will tell you, there are a lot of people currently elected to local office who do not agree with me on that. And what they do behind closed doors is they make it very difficult for us to get resources, funding. They reallocate funds that could come to us to other projects. But that needs to be brought out into the light of day. So I'd really encourage people, before they cast their votes in 2024, ask them, do they support the city's strategy of eliminating unsanctioned camps by providing humane pathways out of homelessness into services and into housing, or don't they? And if they don't, please elect somebody else.
We've got a fentanyl crisis on Portland streets. A lot of open drug use, more overdoses recently. It's one reason why downtown businesses are struggling and some actually leaving. So how do we get a handle on this?
So this is a multifaceted issue, and I'm really proud of the work that the Portland Police Bureau is doing. We now have a partnership with the Oregon State Police, and I want to thank the governor for that partnership. We had a bust just 2 nights ago where we arrested 7 people. We confiscated 3 guns and a lot of drugs, including fentanyl, which our streets are now awash in. And we also worked with our federal law enforcement partners, including the DEA. The goal here is to move upstream and not only eliminate the use of drugs on our streets, but get to the people, the big guns who are actually distributing fentanyl and other illicit drugs onto our streets. And you're going to see far more aggressiveness from the Portland police. I believe that we will continue to have increased support from the state police. And right now, our partnership with the federal government is very, very good on this front. So, if you're out there and you're dealing fentanyl, we're going to come after you. It's important that we do it. And we're also, of course, we passed a use ordinance at the local level, but it has to be approved by the legislature. So we're asking the legislature to approve a use ordinance for all of those illicit drugs, not just fentanyl, but meth and heroin and other drugs as well.
You mentioned the partnership with Oregon State Police doing those downtown patrols along with PPB. Governor Kotek also convened a task force to address issues in the Central City, of which you're a member. What do you think about the state and the governor stepping in to try to help solve Portland's problem?
So I wish there had been more understanding of what our Central City recovery plan was at the local level. I want to be clear, we've had a plan, we've been acting on it. It includes more police patrols, it includes private sector security, it includes outreach through one of our service providers to people who are homeless on the streets who need to be connected to services. It included activation, it included lighting, it included security infrastructure. And of course, it also included me asking businesses to bring your employees back. Our city employees are back half-time. We're asking other private sector businesses to join us, because if you want to get rid of some of the problems we're seeing on the streets, part of the answer is activating those streets. So we're doing all of those things. I appreciate the partnership with the governor. Without this task force, we probably would not have had the leverage to be able to have the state police join us. We have a number of asks that we're going to make of the governor. I've already been pretty public about what those are. And I think it can only be a good thing to have the state, the county, and the city working together to recover our Central City.
And we should hear some recommendations from that task force pretty soon here.
Absolutely.